Hey, we got class tuning, and one of the things I want to do on this channel is go over the class tuning because I pug all my keys. So I've seen all these specs, and I kind of know how they actually play. For example, Augmentation Evoker just got nerfed. Except that actually it didn't really get nerfed at all. This was their old two-piece. The fact that they were even using it is kind of sad and definitely a failure on Blizzard's part. They never ever want you to use old set pieces. They will consistently, and they will make sure that doesn't happen. It's just that nobody was playing AUG, so they literally let this happen because they didn't realize it was. I swear they didn't even know it was happening. This is now adjusted accordingly. That's fine. Um, the thing with AUG is that you're never playing it in Pug. They was buffed to the point where you're actually playing it in some coordinated groups, but even then it's still not quite as good as you need it to be, and they didn't want you to play AUG this season. They nerfed that spec into the ground, into oblivion, before the season started. I remember on PTR, it was so dead. It is still currently dead. You never see the spec in a pug. Maybe people don't have it geared, but I have an evoker. And you don't play it. You're not going to see AUG in your weekly 15s. I just really doubt you'll be seeing it at all. This was fine for the very, 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 very few people who were playing it. I think that's absolutely fine. Now, I have an Evoker. You know what spec of Evoker I actually do like to play? Some of you might not know this because I've been uploading tank videos, and I mostly tank. But in Season 4 of Dragonflight, I played Preservation Evoker, and that was my main. So this is interesting. We've gotten this buff literally last time. I actually think these are borderline the same numbers as what we got last time. I actually think they took the last tuning for Prez and just straight up copy pasted it and gave it to us again. This is interesting because Prez already in keys this season was not struggling. The only reason that why you don't play Prez, or why more people don't play it, is most people just don't play the spec, and it's a complicated spec, and it's a little different than other healers. But B is because Resto Shaman and Disc Priest exist, and Mistweaver exist. The only difference between Prez and those in terms of what they contribute to a group, aside from some utility, is actually group buffs. So the Priest giving PI is one of the reasons that Priest is so good. The Shaman giving a group buff. So if the Shaman does 500k DPS overall, but they're providing a Shaman buff, that DPS is actually like 1,000,000. Like, the group buffs are so strong for what a healer can provide to your team. If you don't know this, really, healer meta is mostly determined by group buffs and damage, a lot more than just your healing output, because I've played Prez this season, and I've played it to a reasonable key level. I healed a 16 Dark Flame Cleft and whatnot. It's fine. Like, I didn't really struggle that much on Candle King, and that was before Turbo Boost. So I bet you after Turbo Boost, like, we don't need healing. This one's interesting because I haven't noticed at any point needing more Spirit Bloom healing. Like, this one's pointless. This one doesn't matter at all. I don't even know exactly why this happened. I guess it's a small quality of life, but this one doesn't really do much. This is an interesting one because you actually do heal passively through Living Flame a lot with Leaping Flames and stuff, so it's nice. This is the more interesting one for sure. The actual healing of all spells and abilities. That's cool, solid. I mean, Prez needs it because it's so underrepresented, but it doesn't actually need HPS increases. Like, I don't think that this was required. It's interesting. I have no problem with it because I was actually going to bring my Prez up to a reasonable IO. I was thinking like 3,500 this season for my Prez would be a good goal, so I don't mind this. This is great tuning for me. And for all the Pug Preservation Evokers out there, when was the last time you guys saw a Pug Preservation Evoker? They don't exist. They're like magical unicorns, okay? I've barely ever seen a Pug Prez. Like, very few people play it. So honestly, buffing it, fair enough. Its damage is good. Prez damage is fine. It's slightly lower if you discount the group buff, but it's pretty good on paper. On details meters, Prez does a lot of damage, so this isn't a problem for damage. But healing wise, hey, I'll take it. It's good. I think that Prez, any spec that's that underrepresented and actually kind of bad, fair enough. This one's good. Survival Hunter. I've actually played with a few Survival Hunters. They're fine, but obviously Marksman is the premier choice. I wouldn't have even mind seeing a buff to Beastmaster as well. Just a little bit. This is not a crazy buff. It's something. It's a little bit. It's not crazy. Survival was doing okay. This was obviously a little bit nicer. Nobody really plays Survival, so once again, these two. The specs that nobody plays could use some love for sure. Now this one's silly. Honestly. Not, guys, listen. Not every spec of Mage has to be that much better than everything else. For once, can Blizzard just let Mage be? Not every spec of Mage has to be meta. Okay? Arcane Mage is already, basically, if you play it well, the best spec in Mythic Plus, give or take. So you don't need to buff. You don't need to be like, oh, wow, Arcane is 5% ahead. Frost is only 1% ahead. We should buff Frost so it's also 5% ahead. You don't need to do that. Frost was already kind of all right. It fails in some circumstances. It's not even bad. Like, I guess Frost mages are happy about this, but mages, you don't need any more love. I'm sorry, but it's just the truth. Mages, you don't need buffs, okay? Just listen to me. You don't need buffs. Is this fine? Yeah, it's fine. But like you guys can. Okay, look. The fact that they mention this and then they completely forget. Like where are the Windwalker buffs? You see Monk on this list. Where are the Monk buffs? Where's the Brewmaster Monk buff? The fact that Mage is included on this list but Monk isn't is sad. Let's put it that way. Holy Pally. These are fine. These are not. This is not that crazy actually. Like this is fine for Lightsmith. It's okay. Holy Paladins are playing it, so fair enough. Again, Holy Pally doesn't super struggle with HPS. I feel like its problems are a little bit elsewhere, so just buffing this by a tiny little bit, it's not that much. This isn't like a huge part of your healing as a Holy Pally. It's fine. Like again, who plays Holy Pally? I think Holy Pally, I wouldn't be surprised if in higher keys, Holy Pally and Preservation of Evoker are the two most least played specs. But Holy Pally's fine right now. Just like Prez was kind of fine before this as well, so I don't mind. I really think actually if they were going to buff something, Holy Priest would be the thing to buff. It doesn't need it, HPS-wise, no, but it needs help in keys, because right now, it's just, why would you play Holy Priest if Dispriest exists? So really, the healer I would like to see buffed actually is Holy Priest. Every other healer is technically okay, it's just, if Dispriest exists like this, you either have to buff Holy Priest or just accept the fact that you cannot play it. If you try to join a group right now as a priest and you get invited and they're like, oh, you're holy, you're probably getting kicked. Like, I don't know, maybe like up to some key level, it's fine. But it really, I've seen that happen actually. And I was like, okay, maybe holy could use some compensation buffs or something. It should at least do something, but it just does nothing right now. It provides nothing for the group. Priest, this one is very funny. This one right here, this is hilarious. Do you guys know how many times this spell has been affected? I mean, it's got to be like 12, like 10, 12 times that this has been tuned. Is 35% the original value? It was like 50 at one point, I think, and now it's 35. It went from 35 to 15 to 20 to 25 to 30 to 35 to this to that. They cannot figure this ability out. It's very funny. This one is much bigger than you think it is. This, because of how Shadow Priest works, that's a big deal. It looks like 5%. It's a little bit more than that, because the way that Shadow Priest deals damage, this is actually like a pretty big deal. Dispriest is pretty oppressive, but you can play Resto Shaman in higher keys. You can also play other healers, remember. Maybe you play Prez. Probably not. You can also play other healers. I would not be surprised if Shadow picks up a little bit of steam from this buff. This is enough. This is enough, and especially because a lot of Shadow Priests are playing Archon. They're not necessarily playing Void Weaver. As far as I know, Shadow Priests are just not really playing Void Weaver, so that's fine. You can buff it as much as you want, but really, most people are playing the other one. So, I've played with a Shadow Priest. I've done a few 17s this season with a Shadow Priest. They were fine. We timed the key. This buff, again, you're pushing Shadow Priest a little bit too hard. It's been bad for a bit now, but it was so oppressive. It was the best spec by far at the end of Dragonflight, so maybe it deserves a little bit more time off. I'm not sure. Either way, this is a fine buff. It's a little bit more than you think it is, though. 30 to 35% here is actually a lot. So I think that Shadow, you might see some people play Shadow again. People already have geared priests. I think some priests will want to play Shadow. I think that this might be back a little bit. Subtlety Rogue, all damage increased by 5%. Does not affect PvP combat. That's good, honestly. Outlaw and Assassination are both good. I timed a 17 Cinder Brew yesterday with an Outlaw Rogue. They were pumping. They were doing good, even with a target cap, and I pull that place huge. I pull that place big on my tank. So, Outlaw's fine. Subtlety is the one that's not played though. I haven't seen any subtlety rogues for a while. I think that increasing this damage is fine. I bet you still pretty much nobody plays it. I don't think that this tuning is enough, but it's at least something. And that's what I like with class tuning. When I see class tuning and they're at least trying to address things that are just straight not being played, I'm like, okay, sweet. That makes me feel good about the game. Okay, restoration. I don't know. They're trying to increase your far. They're trying to make you play Farseer and keys. This is not going to work. The reason you don't play Farseer and keys is not even necessarily because it doesn't work, because you don't do enough healing. Like, that's actually not why you don't play it. You don't play it because Totemic is sleeper easy. because Totemic is so easy. Why would you play Farseer? Totemic is just, it's so much simpler. I think sometimes Blizzard forgets that. It's not just about power. Sometimes it's about the smoothness of gameplay. Totemic is you put down your totem, you don't have to think about anything. You go back to Farseer, realize you have to cast Acid Rain every 10 seconds. You're like, oh, I'm in misery. And then you have to like actually kind of ramp your healing a little bit. I mean, I like Farseer when I play Resto Shaman. I think Farseer is more fun, but even if they buff it more than this, I'm probably still not playing it. If I play my Resto Shaman, it's because I want to go to sleep. If I want to heal a key and I want to do it like, oh man, this was the one, I want to work for this, I'll play my Preservation Evoker. Then I have to work. If I want to like kind of sleep and stream or chill on stream and just heal a key, I'll play my Resto Shaman. So I'm not playing Farseer. These are all fine. It's not actually that much of an HPS. Like, this doesn't really matter right here. It's not that much of an HPS increase. This one's nice. The mana thing is kind of nice, but again, 5%, meh. Hydra Bubble is a lot, so fair enough. But this isn't really like a big buff. I think they need to buff it a little bit more than this, and then maybe people would view it. It doesn't need damage buffs. Farseer does fine damage. It doesn't need damage buffs. It needs a little bit more HPS to make it slightly more competitive, because you have to work a lot harder. So if they're equal, just play Totemic. I mean, unless you really like Farseer. Destruction. This looks like buffs, except for the fact that most people are playing Hellcaller. So they're just trying to buff the other hero talent tree. This is a lot, though. Like, Ruination does a lot of damage. So 35% here. There's some... I could see maybe some Destro locks wanting to play this, but just keep in mind, this looks like buffs to a spec that's already doing pretty well. It's mostly the other hero talent tree, so they're just trying to make it competitive. I sometimes wonder why they take a look at spec like a Warlock, and they keep doing this. But Blizzard clearly has favorite specs, because there's a lot of specs in the game that just don't play the other hero talent tree. And yet you always see on every class tuning Warlock, Mage, Priest. It's almost like they're trying to tell you not to play the other specs. Where is Monk? Guys, where is Monk on this list? Honestly, like, yeah, anyways. Warrior, that's all. That's all for Destro, for Warlock. Warrior, Whirlwind damage buff by 100% for arms. It's fine. Like, that's not like a huge deal, to be honest. Arms doesn't actually spam Whirlwind, so that's okay. Arms Warrior could use a tiny bit of a buff. A lot of Arms Warrior value lies in providing the actual group buff. So buffing their personal damage will probably feel a little better. But like, the reason you bring in Arms is not because they're going to be top damage, but because they provide Battle Shout, and you're playing a comp that actually wants Battle Shout. That's mostly the reason you play it. I know this because I play Guardian Druid. So if I play Guardian Druid, we bring a Windwalker Monk, who is surprisingly absent from this list. But if you bring a Windwalker Monk, then you're going to want a Warrior, because that will buff them, and then they buff them, and it's all a chain reaction of buffs. All right, Fury. That's it for Arms. Fury. Arms only needed this. That's fine. Fury needs love, though. Fury is the one. This spec is not well right now. So this is good to see. Pretty solid. The Whirlwind damage, 120%, is fine. It's not the biggest deal, because, again, this is not like a huge percentage of their damage. It's just a rotational filling button to get their stacks. It's okay. Odin's Fury is a little bit better. I think they're still playing this right now. That's an AoE button, and they need more technical uncapped AoE. So buffing some of it is good. I still think they could have maybe addressed something, maybe given them more like Thunderous Roar damage or something a little bit more AoE oriented, because Fury Warrior on single target is fine, so they need the AoE. But Fury Warriors, I don't think they're playing Mountain Thane still. I need to double check. I just haven't seen enough. I actually don't know if they're playing Mountain Thane or Slayer at this point. They were originally all playing Slayer, but that one's also been nerfed. Fury Warrior took a shot. And then there's all the PvP tuning, and I don't PvP, so that's basically it for the class tuning. There are a few things that should be on this list, and they're not on this list. So, I don't know. When class tuning comes out, I'm going to try to make videos about it because I pug all my keys. I've seen all these specs. I've seen some of them win, and I've seen some of them fail. And I'm telling you, there are some specs right now that need help, and they're not getting it. So that feels bad. If your spec needs help and didn't get it, let me know. Actually, start making comments. At least maybe if we're vocal about it, people will say something. People will do something. People will take notice of our plight. Because how can you play a spec in World of Warcraft if it's not simply the best spec? Like, what are you even doing with your life if you haven't re-rolled to meta already? Probably having fun, enjoying Dornagal, as you never get invited to keys. Okay, that's all.